The other thing about short form video is the algorithms use intermittent reinforcement, right? So it might show you something that you really like, and then another thing that you really like, and then maybe something you don't like so much, right? So a lot of experts liken it to like pulling a slot machine, right? So
Yes,
there's an element to it that's very similar to like what gambling does to your brain, right? Which is very different
absolutely.
than sitting and watching even a 2, 3, 5 minute video, right? On YouTube is very different than scrolling shorts. And this is what I try to really help parents understand because, I work with parents and teachers and kids of all ages. But the hardest thing I think for people to understand that it's not, I actually hate the concept of screen time. It's not really about screen time, like even for kids. It's about, well, what are they doing, right? Because sitting down and watching a movie is so different what it does to your brain and your attention and everything else than scrolling TikTok for an hour and a half, right? So
Yeah, for
and I
sure.
think that's what you guys are saying too, which is like, yeah, there can be things about social media that are connective and positive, right? But let's maybe minimize some of the things that are much more harmful and maybe and more predatory, frankly, right? So those are the
Yeah,
things I was thinking about
absolutely.
as you were
And
talking.
yeah, and I'll just add on to that, like, what you were saying about the slot machine kind of casino aspect of it is really true. And so what people don't realize is like everyone thinks like I'm watching these videos for entertainment. That's in the front of your mind. That's what it is. So what is happening to everyone, and what you don't realize in the back of your mind is it's just like, whereas when you pull a casino machine, you don't know what the outcome is going to be, and it's actually
Yeah.
the one of the most addicting parts is not the videos themselves. It's the anticipation of what's next. And what happens is, with kids our age, no one's in a doctor's office in a waiting room that's, you're going to play a Netflix show. It's not going to happen. You have a few extra minutes. You're like, okay, this is great. I can spend my time doing this for a few minutes. And it's the same thing when someone my age will go start their homework. They're like, okay, I want to chill for 15 minutes. I don't want to go to the TV, turn on a show and watch it. That sounds like so much effort to some, which is kind of crazy in our day. That something like that is such a big deal. But with pulling out your phone, it's easy. It's like, I'm gonna watch a few short videos. I don't have time for a movie, but I sure have time to sit on my phone and chill out or rest for 15 minutes. And it's just that video is just like, oh, it's one more video, it's one more video, and then that just keeps
Yeah.
going. And it's so hard to break that cycle. And it starts with the fact that it's easy and it's short, and your intention is not to spend a lot of time on it, but that's what ends up happening.
And I think people also conflate watching short form content as a way of like resting and, kind of calming your mind.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's providing a ton more stimulation than pretty much any alternative. And so it doesn't actually give your brain a rest as well.